Assalamu alaikum. This is Ms. Isha Khan from Bridging 5, and today I am presenting on the topic of silent way of teaching. If we talk about what is silent way of teaching, then this is a methodology in language teaching learning process. Indeed, this is first introduced by Caleb Gatengo in 1963, and by the name we can get the idea that in this methodology or process of teaching learning, one partaker is silent, and obviously that is the teacher. And this is why, because we want our student, they learn themselves by making errors and correcting them themselves. It is completely a student oriented way of teaching, and it is said that in this process teacher should be silent as much as possible in the classroom, and learners should be encouraged to produce as much language as possible. If we discuss the maxims of silent way, it works on three maxims. According to the first one, learning is facilitated through discovery and discovery and creation rather than remembering them. It's mean that in this way cramming is not encouraged, and repeating reinforcement, we call that, this is not encouraged. Second maxim of that is learning is facilitated by mediating, mean accompanied physical object. It's mean we use some physical objects as teaching aids here, and what are those we will discuss in later slides. Third maxim says learning is facilitated by problem solving involving the material to be used. Whatever the material we are using, we use that material to solve the problem, and these problems are obviously related to the language learning process. So in previous slide we discussed the pedagogical material, the material which we will use in this teaching learning process. So this is the material which we use for teaching that. First one is sound color chart. In that different sounds of different letters are represented through different colors, and a practice is made with the help of those sounds. And then in later classes, student use those sounds for creating words. Second one is rods. Rods we use typically for teaching a different part of speech and tenses and different grammatical structure. After that, fourth one is word chart. You can see that there are a lot of words, and these are indeed basic words which we want to teach our student, and with the help of these, either that would be suffixes or prefixes, and with the help of these the student will create their new vocabulary and enhance that. Besides these three physical material, teacher because it's silent, that's why a teacher will use gestures to give instruction to the class. For example, if he wants to say stop, then we can see what gesture would be made here. Then open wider mean about movement of the mouth. Sometimes we need to open our mouth wider as normal than normal, so this gesture is for that. Then for if we want our class to repeat the word, the gesture is present here. Then mistakes we count on the finger and tell our student the mistakes. This is Fidel chart, and this is for combining the different sounds and making some words with the help of that. So these are the pedagogical material which we use in the class to teach our class languages. If we discuss the principle of that, these are very simple. We work whatever the student knows earlier to the unknown. It's mean ke from easy to difficult or known to unknown we follow that. And obviously there is no cramming. It's mean there is no repetition. We just make our practice our own. Either we will correct that ourselves or our peers will correct that. The important thing in this teaching learning process is that there is no judgment or criticism. It's mean teacher cannot give any positive or negative remarks about the learning of the students. And inner criteria is describing here that whatever the student will learn in the class, that will motivate that to learn further languages himself or herself. Homework we usually don't give in this matter, and we don't work on the perfection. Besides that, we work on progress. So if we talk about here syllabus of that, there is no fixed syllabus, and we developed our syllabus according to the learning need. Whatever the student will need to learn, we will decide our syllabus from that point and we will work on that. That's why this is an easy way of teaching. If we discuss here teacher's role, what role teacher play, this table can explain that. First of all, teacher would be a silent facilitator. Whenever a student need, through gesture, teacher will give them instruction, and at the end of the class they can discuss their problem, and then teacher can help them. As a neutral observer, as we previously discussed, he will not give any positive or negative remarks or not anything else. Third role is the task of the teacher is just to teach, to test, and to get out of the way. Besides that, teacher will provide the class teaching material and how to use them. He will guide that with the gestures and hand movement. And last one is encourage students to cooperate with peers. This is very important thing, because among themselves all the students will learn from each other. Now if we discuss here students' role, through this picture we can get the idea of the students' role. Learners are expected to develop independence, autonomy and responsibility. It's mean if they won't be eager to learn, this way of teaching will not work. Their participation is very important in the class, and that participation must be active participation, and they will themselves will engage or involve in verbal interaction and peer correction activities, because teacher is silent but students are speaking among themselves and they are uttering some things. That's why this is active participation that will help them a lot to learn a language. Next is they must learn to work cooperatively rather than competitively. Competition is not encouraged in this method, so cooperatively they will work. That's why this, then they would be able to correct their or others' mistakes. Close attention is very important, because through verbal teaching, this is the teacher is not doing anything, so attention is very essential. Through gestures and their own learning, hit and try method, student will learn that. Student must try their best to create their own strategies. This is the most important point, because students are learning themselves. That's why they will create their own strategies, how they can keep them in their memory, what sound they can use, how, and what word would be produced with the help of different sounds. Then advantages and disadvantages of the process is, if we discuss the advantages, then non-threatening approach, this is called, and engaging students in discovery, this is another advantage of that, because they learn hit to trial method. This is the way that is we can call a natural learning. In this process, usually focus is on the student rather than the instructor, because this is student oriented. Then student free to make mistakes as they learn. If they will not make mistakes, how they will correct their mistake themselves? That's why mistakes making is fully allowed here, and then correction of that also. Another advantage of this way of teaching is this is problem solving, and this looks attractive. Then disadvantages, if we students want and need more guidance here, because teacher is not speaking, sometimes students need that their teacher must say something to explain them. That's why this is a drawback of that. Some students may feel frustrated with the lack of input by the instructor, because mental level and intelligence differs from person to person. So a student could be of any intelligence, and might be some need extra instruction from the teacher. On the basis of the given point, this way of teaching is usually criticized. If we compare this way to other, this table can help that. For example, grammar translation method, in that we need to achieve the goal read literally, read literature, sorry. Then in direct method, communication is emphasized. Then in next audio lingual method, communication is emphasized, but in silent way, expressions are very important. If we discuss the role of teacher in all these four methods, then grammar translation method, this is totally teacher oriented, authority is of teacher. Then in direct method, the same. In audio lingual, orchestra leader, and in student, this is the work of the teacher is as technician or engineer, we can say like that. And role of student in grammar translation method, usually students are passive. In direct method, less passive learners we will find in front of us as teacher. Then in audio lingual method, imitator as well, but in a silent way, autonomous learner we will find that they are trying to learn something by their own. Inductive, deductive, if we discuss on both of these, then grammar translation method is deductive, direct method is inductive, audio lingual is inductive, and silent way is also inductive. Error correction, in grammar translation method, teacher always correct the mistakes. In direct method, self-correction is encouraged. In audio lingual, immediate teacher correction is required, while in silent way, self-correction is working on. If we discuss the feeling of a student, in three method, they don't work on the feeling, just emphasize on the learning. While this is positivity of silent way, feelings of students is important here. Then native language use, in grammar translation method, mostly native language is used, because bilingually we are teaching second language in this. So native language mostly for giving instruction is used in that. Direct method, never ever, just target language or second language we emphasize on. In audio lingual, as same as direct method, we don't use native language. And in silent way, obviously, as the name suggests, rarely we used, rarely, very rarely we use that. So that was the comparison among all the different teaching method and some information about silent way. Thank you.